maybe nice feels like a rather bland word, but I feel like Christmas Cookies is a nice film, and that's the best way to describe it. This is the 2016 Hallmark film. I'm very much addicted to Hallmark Christmas films at the moment. Directed by James Head and written by Robert Tate Miller. And there won't be any spoilers in this. The description from IMDB is as follows. A corporate agent is sent to a small town to buy a cookie company and shut down its factory. When she starts falling in love with the factory's owner, the town's Christmas spirit overtakes her. Yeah, I guess that's what it's about. That's pretty accurate. It's not as romantic as it makes it sound. And I think the main problem is the protagonist, but I'll talk about her in a moment. First of all, I just want to talk about the fact that the town is called Cookie Jar. That's ridiculous. That's an awful, awful name. And it's really gimmicky. And it really kind of trivializes everything else. It's not a good name whatsoever. The fact that everything there is kind of named after Christmas, though there's like a bed and breakfast where there's the peppermint room, and there are so many sweet words, it does make you feel warm and fuzzy inside. So although the town's name is a bit stupid, everything else is quite tastefully named and very sweet. I think sweet is a good word to describe this film, actually. We'll say it's sweet and nice. So the narrative is interesting enough. As I said, this corporate agent, Hannah, goes to a cookie jar in an attempt to buy out this cookie company, Aunt Sally's cookie company, which has, it's been a staple of this town for as long as everybody can remember. Almost everybody has worked there at one point. They're very proud of these cookies. And this big corporation plans to buy them out and relocate the factory to a different town. Obviously, that's a really bad thing. The plot itself is not very well executed, I'll be perfectly honest with you. There's a little emotion from the town when they're talking about the cookies passionately, but there's no fire in them. There's very little will to actually stop this factory from being sold. It's kind of like they're upset about it, but what are they going to do about it? And it turns out they're going to do nothing about it. So I feel like they could have done a lot more with that and showed a lot more of the town's spirit, but they didn't. And as for the falling in love aspect, that really isn't at the forefront. You can see glimpses of it, but for the most part, it's kind of not really there until almost the ending. So IMDb kind of, I don't say it gives the game away because it's pretty cliche. And I think the problem, as I said, why the romance aspect doesn't work and I don't give a toss about it is because of Hannah as a character. I just think she's so underdeveloped. There's really nothing going for her. She's not a likable character. She's not antagonistic. She's just very bland. And that doesn't sit right. I do like Jake, played by Wes Brown. I should say Jill Wagner, who plays Hannah, very well acted, absolutely no problems with the acting. But just the character herself is very poorly written, I think. Jake is a character I liked, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more from him, I think. Amelie Eve, who plays Bonnie, lovely performance. I think a Christmas film like this always needs a child actor in it to retain some of that innocence. I apologise if you can hear fireworks in the background. I am filming this on the 5th of November. So what do I actually like about this, since I don't like the protagonist and I don't like the narrative development? It's a good question. I'm asking myself that. Well, actually, I like the amount of Christmas that's in it. As I said, everywhere you look, it's sweet and sugary and full of Christmassy goodness. And that was essential, and I really liked that aspect of it. Because there are a lot of Christmas films, even from Hallmark, where there's not really enough Christmas in it for it to be a Christmas film. But this one does it very well. So, credit where it's due, it feels Christmassy. And I like that a lot. It's just underdeveloped in a lot of ways. I would recommend watching it. It's perfectly fine, as I said. It's nice. It's quite sweet. But it's not a great film. It's got a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb, which I think is a bit generous, to be honest. But maybe it's just me. Maybe there's something in it that I'm not particularly seeing. But it was good. I enjoyed the time watching it. It's not a Christmas film I would watch again, but I'd recommend watching it at least once.